Hey girl, okay, grab your favorite drink, wine, tea, bubble tea, your pick, fluff your pillows, and let's video chat about Kyren Lacy and all the tea swirling online right now, October 10th, 2025. Think of this as our late night gossip sesh, with receipts, alleged facts, rumors, and all the shade and solidarity. So, if you don't already know, Kyren Lacy was a college football standout. Wide receiver, LSU, big dreams, plus big expectations. But life threw him into a whirlwind of tragedy, accusations, and heartbreak. He tragically died in April 2025, authorities say by suicide during a police chase, just days before a grand jury was supposed to hear a case against him tied to a fatal car crash. Now fast forward to October 2025, and bam, new evidence, new interviews, new narrative twists. The internet's buzzing, people are picking sides, and we're about to dive deep. Back in December 2024, there was a tragic crash on Louisiana Highway 20, Lafourche Parish, that killed 78-year-old Herman Hall, a passenger in one of the vehicles involved. The Louisiana State Police accused Kyren of reckless driving. Their version is he crossed into oncoming traffic, tried to pass multiple cars illegally, forced another truck to swerve, triggering a chain reaction that led to the head-on collision. They noted he didn't physically crash into the vehicles, but they say his actions put everything in motion. After the crash, Kyren allegedly left or flew around the scene, didn't stop to render aid, or at least that's how the authorities painted it. In January 2025, an arrest warrant was issued. Charges included negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. The tragedy? Kyren died just as this case was about to go before a grand jury, so he never officially got to defend himself before that body in full. New evidence plus counterclaims that are stirring the pot. This is where it gets messy and gripping. The attorney's side and the DA's report. Kyren's lawyer Matthew Ory recently presented video footage, HTV10 interview among others, claiming Kyren was far behind the crash, not leading it. Ory says that in the official crash report, it was noted that Kyren had already returned to his lane well before the collision, about 92.3 yards away, making it nearly impossible that he caused the crash. The DA's office, in a report, apparently flagged inconsistencies in the state police's version of events. That is, they questioned parts of how the investigation was conducted or represented. The state police's follow-up. Not going down quietly, the state troopers released new video plus body cam footage, plus records to back their narrative. They maintained that despite Kyren not physically colliding with anything, the chain of events started because of his driving behavior. In that new footage, a witness, or at least someone on camera, claims a green Charger caused all this, the same make, color tied to Kyren's alleged vehicle in earlier reports. Also in the evidence, it was noted that within 10 minutes of the crash, Kyren's first outgoing phone call was to a Baton Rouge personal injury and defense attorney, which prosecutors and police seem to imply is suspicious. Louisiana's Attorney General Liz Murrill commented that while the DA's office was preparing to forward the case to the grand jury, with the narrative that Kyren's operations triggered the crash, that doesn't necessarily absolve him. Each piece of evidence must stand. A forensic engineer consulted by local news, Fox 8, says, lots of factors at play, cautioning against oversimplifying. Just because someone's car doesn't crash doesn't mean there's no liability, but proving causation is tricky. The engineer also acknowledged that state police's version is plausible, Kyren cutting into oncoming inducing reactions, but not ironclad, because traffic accidents are often multi-factor puzzles. Now, you know how the internet works. Once something tragic plus controversial surfaces, everyone has an opinion, and everyone is pulling up old tweets, docs, receipts, family statements. On social media, there's a big divide. Some folks are shouting justice for Kyren Lacy, believing he was misinterpreted, misjudged, or scapegoated. Some call the original narrative a witch hunt. Others are angry, saying he made his choices, he endangered lives, especially given the initial reports of him crossing lanes, speeding, passing illegally. Sports media pundits have had to walk back or clarify their takes. For instance, Ryan Clark expressed regret recently, saying he had jumped to conclusions without all the context. Some commentators note this is a battle between narrative control, state versus defense, versus online public. The fact that Kyren never got to face the grand jury leaves space for speculation and conspiracy. Mental health advocates also weigh in. Many think the pressure, public shaming, and legal threat may have contributed to his tragic end. Some say this case is an example of what happens when a young black man is under public scrutiny before hearing all evidence. The tragic end and the what-ifs. One of the most heartbreaking parts, Kyren Lacy died on April 12, 2025. The police say during a pursuit his car crashed, and that prior to impact he had apparently taken his own life. No grand jury ruling, no final guilty or not guilty. Just a tragic silence. Because of that, the public narrative becomes even more volatile. Was he wrongly accused? Did guilt weigh on him? Was the investigation mishandled? We may never fully know. The girly chat takeaway from our FaceTime. All right, girl, here's what I'm thinking. And you tell me what you believe? This isn't a black and white case. The police do have new evidence, witnesses, footage, but the defense isn't lying either. They've presented some strong counterclaims about distance, timing, and logic. The DA's office flagged inconsistencies, which is huge. If even they question the state police's narrative, red flags are waving. Because Kyren never faced full judgment, the public narrative is unsettled. That vacuum leads to gossip, theories, hero worship, or vilification. My heart aches. A young life, potential, and so many what-ifs. If anything, this is a reminder. Context matters, evidence matters, and trauma. Plus, public pressure can be dangerous. Girl, at the end of the day, everything we've talked about is alleged. I wasn't there, and neither were most of us. We can only go off what's been said online, what's been shown in the media, and what's been released by different sources. What we do know is that this story is layered, full of pain, confusion, and so many unanswered questions. So instead of pointing fingers, we're just sending love, light, and prayers for everyone involved. No matter what really happened, there are real families still hurting and real lives that were changed forever. Now, before we close out tonight's tea session, remember to check out my Shopify store. I've been dropping some new self-care essentials and digital goodies to help you stay motivated, stylish, and balanced no matter what life throws at you. Whether you're journaling through your healing, working on your goals, or just trying to treat yourself, I got you. Supporting my small business helps me keep bringing y'all these story times, hauls, and inspirational vibes, so thank you so much for being part of this little community we're building. And lastly, always remember this. Protect your peace, stay grounded in your truth, and never let the noise of the internet shake your spirit. We can sip the tea, we can chat, we can reflect, but at the end of the day, our goal is always growth, healing, and elevation. I'm sending love to every single one of you watching, and to all the innocent victims in this story. May they get the justice and peace they deserve.